Admiral Kim Tae-ho stood in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council, watching alien delegates file into their seats. The massive chamber could hold 10,000 beings from across the galaxy. Today, it buzzed with the usual mix of languages, clicks, and electronic sounds that made up galactic politics. Tae-ho had been coming to these meetings for 15 years. He had seen the council vote on trade laws, settle border disputes, and plan massive projects that helped billions of people across thousands of worlds. But something felt different today. Dr. Park Ji-woo sat beside him in the human section. She looked tired. For the past month, she had been working on Kepler 442, fixing their broken atmosphere machines. The Zalani people there would have died without her help. Before that, she had spent 6 months on 3 different worlds, teaching alien scientists how to clean their poisoned oceans. "Do you think they will actually do it?" Ji-woo whispered to Tae-ho. "I hope not," he replied. "But the signs are all there." Captain Lee Dabin entered the hall and walked toward them. Her uniform showed the marks of recent space travel. She had just returned from the Outer Rim, where her ships had rescued 8,000 refugees from a dying star system. The rescue had taken 3 weeks of dangerous flying through solar storms. "Any word from the intelligence networks?" Tae-ho asked her. "Commander Yoon Hak-jun says the vote is already decided," Dobbin said quietly. "The Valorians have been talking to other species for months. They have the numbers they need." Ambassador Choi So-ra joined them just as the session bell rang. She had been in meetings all morning trying to change minds and win votes. The look on her face told them everything. "I tried," she said, "but they will not listen. The Valorians have convinced them that we are too dangerous to trust." The council president, a tall being with blue skin and 4 arms, called for order. The great hall fell silent. Thousands of eyes, sensors, and other organs turned toward the center platform. "Today we vote on the sapient oversight protocols," the president announced. "This new law will help keep peace in our galaxy by watching over species that show aggressive behavior." Tae-ho felt his heart sink. Everyone knew the law was written for humans. For 300 years, humans had helped the galaxy grow and prosper. They had stopped wars, saved dying worlds, and shared their knowledge freely. But some aliens had always feared human strength and creativity. The Valorian representative stood up first. His species looked like giant insects with golden shells. "The humans have done good work," he said in a voice that sounded like grinding metal. "But they are too quick to fight, too willing to take risks. They need guidance from wiser species." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the hall. Tae-ho wanted to stand up and remind them of all the times human aggression had saved alien lives. When pirates attacked trade ships, humans fought them off. When natural disasters struck, humans risked their lives in rescue missions. When diseases spread, human doctors worked day and night to find cures. The Threnody delegate spoke next. Her people looked like walking crystals that glowed with inner light. "Humans change things too fast," she said. "They create new technologies without asking permission. They make decisions that affect whole star systems. This must be controlled." More voices joined in. The Kepler Commonwealth complained that human terraforming was too aggressive. The Spiral Union said human trade practices were unfairly efficient. Species after species stood up to criticize the very humans who had helped them survive and grow. Dr. Park Ji-woo gripped her chair handles tightly. "I spent 5 years teaching them how to terraform dead worlds," she whispered. "Now they say I work too fast." Captain Lee Dabin shook her head. Last month, I saved a Valorian colony ship from solar flares. Today, they call me reckless. The debate went on for hours. Some species spoke in favor of humans. The Andorian Federation reminded everyone that human medical research had cured the wasting plague that killed millions. The free traders pointed out that human-built jump gates made galactic commerce possible. But for every friend, there were three critics. The fear of human capability had grown stronger than gratitude for human help. Finally, the president called for the vote. All in favor of the sapient oversight protocols? Thousands of hands, claws, tentacles, and appendages rose into the air. The voting display showed the numbers, 7,043 in favor. All opposed? Far fewer limbs rose this time. The display showed 2,047 opposed. The protocols are approved, the president announced. The new law was simple, but devastating. All human military forces would be disbanded. Human colonies would be supervised by alien administrators. Human technology would be seized for safety. Review. Humans could no longer make major decisions without alien approval. Tejo stood slowly. The massive hall fell silent as all eyes turned to him. He had commanded human fleets for 20 years. He had kept peace in 17 different sectors. He had saved more alien lives than most beings could count. "Honorable delegates," he said, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber. "For 3 centuries, humanity has served this galaxy. We have shared our knowledge, our strength, and our lives freely. We asked for nothing but the chance to help others grow and prosper." He paused and looked around the hall. Many aliens would not meet his gaze. "You have decided that our help comes with too high a price. You fear our strength more than you value our friendship. You want our benefits without our presence." The hall remained silent. Even the usual electronic humming seemed muted. "Very well," Tejo continued. "If this is how the galaxy views humanity's contributions, then humanity will no longer burden you with our presence. We will take our dangerous innovations, our reckless courage, and our unpredictable creativity, and we will leave." A ripple of shock ran through the chamber. The Valorian delegate stood up. "You cannot just leave," he said. "You have responsibilities, contracts, agreements." Tejo smiled coldly. "All of which were made with free beings, not supervised servants. Consider them void." He turned to his fellow humans. "Ambassador Choi, please send word to all human worlds. We are going home." As the human delegation walked out of the Great Hall, Tejo heard confused voices behind them. Some aliens were already asking who would maintain the terraform systems. Others wondered who would respond to emergency calls from the Outer Rim. The galaxy had made its choice. Now it would learn to live with the consequences. Commander Yoon Hak Jun stood in the war room aboard the human flagship, staring at a massive star map. Red dots marked every human presence in the galaxy. There were so many that the map looked like it had a rash. 47 billion people, he said to Admiral Kim Tejo, spread across 12,000 worlds. How do we bring them all home? Tejo studied the map. Each red dot represented years of human effort. Colonies built by pioneers who traveled for months through space. Research stations where scientists worked to solve alien problems. Military bases protecting trade routes that aliens now took for granted. We do it the way humans always do impossible things, Tejo said. One step at a time, and we never give up. The operation began immediately. Dr. Park Ji-woo sent emergency messages to every human scientist in the galaxy. Pack your research. Destroy what you cannot take. Leave nothing behind that they can use without us. On the world of New Kyoto, human terraforming engineer Lee Min-ho received the message while repairing an atmosphere processor. The machine kept breathable air flowing for 3 million Threnody colonists. He looked at the complex system he had, built with his own hands over 5 years. "Sorry, friends," he said to the empty control room. "You wanted to do this without human help." He opened the master control panel and pulled out 7 critical components. Without them, the processor would run for maybe 6 months before failing. He packaged the parts carefully and added them to his shipping container. In the Valorian home system, Captain Lee Dobbin was pulling her rescue ships away from their permanent stations. For 15 years, her crews had responded to emergencies across 3 sectors. They had saved miners trapped in collapsed tunnels, pulled passenger ships from black holes, and delivered medicine to plague-struck worlds. "Captain," her communications officer said, "we are getting distress calls from the Outer Rim. A transport convoy is lost in an asteroid field." Dobbin felt her heart tighten. Those ships probably carried families with children. In the old days, she would have had her ships moving within minutes. "Log the call," she said quietly. "Forward it to Valorian Rescue Services." "Ma'am, the Valorians do not have ships in that sector. The nearest help is 4 days away. Then those people better hope they can survive 4 days." Dobbin hated the words as she spoke them, but the galaxy had made its choice. Across human space, similar scenes played out thousands of times. Human doctors left alien hospitals, taking their knowledge of experimental treatments with them. Human engineers shut down the quantum computers that managed galactic communications. Human traders closed the supply networks that moved food and medicine between star systems. Commander Yoon Hak-jun coordinated it all from his floating command center. His intelligence network had grown over 20 years into something that touched every corner of the galaxy. Human agents in alien governments, human observers watching for signs of trouble, human analysts predicting where problems might start. "Sir," his chief analyst reported, "we have confirmed intelligence of 3 separate plans for military action in the next 6 months. The borderland princes are planning to attack the free traders. The hegemony wants to seize the neutral zone, mining stations. And there are at least 2 independence movements that will start wars if they do not get support. In the old days, Yoon would have sent quiet warnings. A word to the right person could prevent a war. A small favor could stop a genocide. His people had secretly kept peace in dozens of places where the council never even knew trouble was brewing. "File the reports," he said. "Mark them as historical interest only." "Sir, should we not warn someone?" "Warn who? The council that just voted to supervise us? Let them use their own intelligence networks." Yoon smiled grimly. "Oh, that is right. They do not have any." Dr. Park Ji-woo was having her own challenges. She stood in her laboratory on Kepler 442, looking at 20 years of research. She had developed new ways to create breathable air on dead worlds. Her techniques could turn a lifeless rock into a garden in just 5 years. Without her work, dozens of alien colonies would never have been possible. "How much can we take?" asked her assistant, Dr. Choi Byung-ho. "All of it," Ji-woo said firmly. "Every data file, every equipment piece, every sample. If we built it, we take it." "What about the main terraforming station?" "We cannot move that." Ji-woo looked out the window at the massive complex that covered several square kilometers. The station was her life's work. It provided clean air for an entire world and could be copied to help other planets. "Install the termination protocols," she said. "If we cannot take it, no one gets to use it." The termination protocols were a secret that few aliens knew about. Every major human-built facility had them. They were designed to protect human technology from being captured during wartime. When activated, they would gradually shut down all systems and destroy the most important components. Captain Lee Dabin oversaw the shutdown of the human merchant marine. Her commercial ships carried most of the cargo that moved between star systems. Human pilots knew the safest routes through dangerous space. Human engineers kept the massive cargo haulers running smoothly. "Ma'am," her logistics chief reported, "alien authorities are demanding that we continue operations until they can train replacement crews." "How long do they estimate that will take?" Dobbin asked. "The Valorians say 5 years. The Threnodi think 10 years. The smaller species are asking for 20 years of continued service." Dabin laughed bitterly. "They vote to supervise us, then ask us to keep working for 20 more years? Send them our formal response: no." Ambassador Choi So-ra handled the diplomatic side of the withdrawal. Every day brought new meetings with alien officials who were starting to realize what they had done. "Ambassador," the Threnodi Trade Minister said during one heated conversation, "you cannot simply abandon your commitments. We have contracts." "Had contracts," Choi corrected, "with free beings who were partners in galactic civilization. The oversight protocols changed our status from partners to supervised servants. Servants do not make binding agreements. But our economies will collapse without human shipping. Then you should have thought of that before voting to restrict our freedom." The alien official's crystal body flickered with angry light. "This is blackmail." "No," Choi said calmly. "Blackmail would be demanding payment to continue our services. We are not asking for anything. We are simply leaving. You wanted to manage dangerous humans. Now you can manage everything else too." As the months passed, the withdrawal gained speed. Entire human colonies packed up and moved to ships that would take them to the Sol system. Research stations that had operated for decades suddenly went dark. Trade routes that had carried goods for centuries became empty space. Admiral Tae-ho watched it all from his command ship. The galaxy that had seemed so busy and connected was starting to look hollow. Red dots disappeared from the star map one by one as humans returned home. "Admiral," Commander Yoon reported, "the last human facilities will be abandoned within 60 days. All personnel are either already home or en route." "And the security systems?" "All major installations now have termination protocols active. As we leave, our technology leaves with us." Tae-ho nodded. The galaxy had wanted to study human innovations without human oversight. They would find that human technology was much more fragile than they had expected. What about the spatial barriers? Around Sol system? Dr. Park's team has the new technology ready. Once activated, no alien ship will be able to find Earth or any of our hidden colonies. To the rest of the galaxy, we will simply vanish. Tae-ho looked at the star map one last time. Soon, all those red dots would be gone. The galaxy would get exactly what it had voted for: a universe without dangerous, unpredictable humans. "Begin the final phase," he ordered. "It is time to go home." 2 years had passed since the humans disappeared. In the Great Hall of the Galactic Council, emergency sessions had become normal. Today, the Valorian representative stood before a half-empty chamber. Many species could no longer afford to send delegates to the meetings. "The situation grows worse each day," the Valorian said, his golden shell looking dull and scratched. Our colonies in the Outer Rim are reporting system failures across all terraforming equipment. We have lost contact with 7 worlds. The Threnody delegate flickered weakly. Her crystal body, once bright with inner light, now seemed cloudy and dim. Our deep space mining operations have shut down completely. Without the quantum extractors, we cannot reach the rare elements our economy depends on. Unemployment has reached 60%. President Koltar, the blue-skinned leader of the council, looked around the chamber, where once 10,000 delegates had gathered. Now barely 2,000 attended. Many species were too busy dealing with crises at home to participate in galactic politics. What about the replacement programs? He asked. Surely our own scientists can maintain these systems. The Valorian representative made a sound like grinding gears. We have tried. The human-built machines are more complex than we realized. Our best engineers can understand maybe 10% of how they work. When something breaks, we cannot fix it. On the world of Kepler 442, Administrator Velneth stood in the main control room of the terraforming station. Warning lights flashed red across dozens of control panels. The Zalani administrator had been trying for months to understand the human-built systems that kept his world alive. Status report, he called to his technical team. Atmospheric Processor 7 is offline, reported his chief technician. Oxygen levels in the northern continent are dropping. At current rates, the air will become unbreathable in 6 months. Velneth felt his 4 hearts beating faster. 3 billion Zalani lived on this world. Before the humans came, Kepler 442 had been a dead rock with poisonous air. Dr. Park Jiwoo had spent 3 years building the terraforming systems that made life possible here. Can we repair Processor 7? We have tried everything. The quantum stabilization chamber uses technology we do not understand. When we open it to look inside, everything stops working completely. Velneth turned to look out the window at the massive terraforming complex. The humans had built it to run automatically for centuries with minimal maintenance. But they had also built it so that only humans could fix serious problems. Send another message to Earth, he ordered. Tell them our children are dying. His aide looked uncomfortable. Sir, we have sent 47 messages in the past year. The signals reach the Sol system, but there is never any response. It is like Earth has vanished. In the Valorian home system, Fleet Commander Zenthak faced a different crisis. His ships patrolled space that had once been perfectly safe. Now, pirate attacks happened almost every week. Report, he ordered, as his flagship approached the wreckage of another merchant vessel. 15 ships destroyed in this sector this month, his intelligence officer said. The pirates know that no human rescue ships will respond to distress calls. They can attack freely and escape before our slower vessels arrive. Zenthak studied the tactical display. The pirates were using hit-and-run tactics that human captains had always been able to counter. Human ships were faster and their crews thought more quickly in combat situations. How long until our new patrol ships are ready? The shipyards estimate 8 more years. We are having trouble with the engine designs. Human technology used techniques that our engineers cannot copy. 8 more years. Zenthak had voted for the oversight protocols because he feared human military strength. Now he wished desperately for Captain Lee Dobbins' ships to appear and drive off the pirates. Commander Yoon Hak-jun watched the galactic chaos from his hidden observation post in human space. His intelligence networks had gone dark when the humans left, but passive sensors still monitored alien communications. The reports keep getting worse, he told Admiral Kim Tae-ho during their weekly briefing. 3 separate wars have started in sectors we use to monitor. The borderland princes attacked the free traders just like we predicted. Without our early warning, the free traders lost their entire home fleet. Tejo studied the situation reports. Each one described problems that humans could have prevented or solved quickly. What about the disease outbreaks? 11 different plagues spreading unchecked. The Rigel Consortium has lost 40% of its population to something that looks like the wasting plague. Dr. Park Ji-woo developed a cure for that 20 years ago, but they never learned how to make it themselves. Dr. Park Ji-woo continued her research in the hidden human colonies, but now she focused on problems that helped humans instead of aliens. Her latest project was developing technology that would make human worlds completely self-sufficient. How are the atmospheric systems on New Sol? She asked her research team. Perfect efficiency, Dr. Choi Byung-ho reported. Our new techniques are 30% better than what we shared with the aliens. If we had kept developing our technology in secret, we would be decades ahead of where we are now. Ji-woo nodded. For centuries, humans had shared their discoveries freely with all species. They had taught aliens how to terraform worlds, cure diseases, and build technologies that improved billions of lives. But sharing their knowledge had also made them seem less valuable. What about our monitoring of Kepler 442? She asked. The atmospheric processors are failing on schedule. Our termination protocols are working exactly as designed. They will have breathable air for maybe 4 more months before the system collapses completely. Ji-woo felt a brief moment of sadness. She had spent years making that world livable. Billions of people would suffer when the air systems failed. But the galaxy had chosen to reject human help. Captain Lee Daebin commanded the new human defense fleet from her flagship. Her ships used technology that the aliens had never seen. While the galaxy fell apart, humanity had been improving their abilities. Captain, her communications officer reported, we are receiving distress calls from 18 different systems. Ships lost in space, colonies under attack, medical emergencies that require immediate help. Response orders? Daebin asked, though she already knew the answer. Standard protocol. Log the calls as intelligence data. Take no action. Daebin remembered when her crews would have been racing to help with all 18 emergencies. Her ships could have saved those people easily. But humanity had tried helping for 3 centuries, and the galaxy had repaid them with suspicion and restrictions. In the council chambers, the crisis deepened each week. The Androian Federation delegate stood to address the increasingly desperate assembly. We must face the truth, she said. We made a terrible mistake. The humans were not our servants or our subjects. They were our partners, and we drove them away. Angry voices rose from the chamber. The Valorian representative spoke loudest. They abandoned their responsibilities. They left us to face crises they helped create. Did they create the crises? The Androian shot back. Or did they prevent crises that are now happening because they are gone? When did we last have this many wars? When did plagues spread so freely? When did our technology fail so often? President Coulthar called for order. The question is not who was right or wrong. The question is how we survive without human assistance. The Threnody delegate flickered weakly. Our economists estimate that it will take 50 years to train enough of our own people to replace human expertise. Some technologies may be lost forever. 50 years? The Valorian said. Our colonies will be dead in less than 5 years without working terraforming systems. The truth was becoming clear to everyone in the chamber. The galaxy had not just lost human workers or human soldiers. They had lost the people who understood how their civilization actually worked. Humans had been the galaxy's mechanics, doctors, engineers, and problem solvers. Ambassador Choi Sora monitored the alien communications from her office on New Earth. Every day brought new messages begging for human help. Some offered money. Others promised political concessions. A few threatened war if humans did not return. Any change in the pattern? Admiral Tae-ho asked during his daily visit. They are getting more desperate, Choi reported. The Zalani have offered to give humans complete control of 3 star systems in exchange for fixing their air processors. The Valorians want to hire human mercenaries to fight their pirate problem. And our response? The same as always. Silence. Tae-ho nodded. The galaxy had voted to supervise humanity. Now they could learn to supervise everything else without human help. When they were ready to treat humans as equals instead of dangerous servants, perhaps negotiations could begin. But for now, humanity would let the galaxy remember what life was like before humans came to help. 5 years had passed since the humans vanished. On the dead world of Kepler 442, Zalani engineer Mor Vex knelt beside the grave of his youngest daughter. The small stone marker was one of millions that now covered the planet's surface. I tried to fix the air machines, little one, he whispered to the grave, but they were too complex for us to understand. The atmospheric processors had failed 18 months ago. Without breathable air, the Zalani people had slowly suffocated. Some escaped to other worlds, but 3 billion had died waiting for help that never came. Mor Vex stood and walked to his ship. He was part of the largest search operation in galactic history. Every species that could still afford space travel was looking for Earth. Hundreds of ships searched the Sol system daily, but they found only empty space where the human homeworld should be. "Search Team 7 reporting," he said into his communicator. "Sector 47 Alpha shows no signs of human presence. Moving to Sector 47 Beta." The search had been going on for 3 years. Advanced alien sensors could detect the chemical traces of human industry, the energy signatures of human technology, even the quantum echoes of human thoughts. But in the Sol system, they found nothing. Fleet Admiral Zek Prime of the Valorian Navy commanded the largest search fleet. His massive ships carried the most advanced detection equipment in the galaxy. They had mapped every asteroid, scanned every planet, and analyzed every particle of space dust in the human home system. "Report," he ordered his science officer. "The same as yesterday, Admiral. We detect no sign that humans ever existed in this system. No industrial traces, no energy signatures, no quantum resonances. According to our instruments, Earth never had intelligent life." Zek Prime studied the display showing the Sol system. His people had detailed maps of Earth from before the humans disappeared. They knew exactly where the planet should be, orbiting the 3rd position from the yellow star. But their ships found only empty space. "What about the experimental detection methods?" "We have tried everything. Temporal sensors, dimensional scanners, quantum archaeology devices. Whatever the humans did to hide themselves, it is beyond our technology to understand." On the Threnody, homeworld, crystal being Lux Waith led a team of scientists studying captured human technology. They had spent years taking apart human-built machines, trying to understand how they worked. "Status report on the Jump Gate project," she asked her research team. "Still failing," reported her chief engineer. "We have copied the physical structure exactly, but the gates will not activate. Something is missing from our understanding." Lux Waith moved to examine the partially built gate. Before the humans left, the galaxy had thousands of jump gates that allowed instant travel between star systems. Human engineers had built and maintained most of them. When the humans disappeared, the gates gradually stopped working. What about the quantum field generators? We can make them produce energy, but not the right kind of energy. Human quantum technology seems to work on principles that our physics cannot explain. The truth was becoming obvious to alien scientists across the galaxy. Human technology was not just advanced, it was fundamentally different. Humans thought about problems in ways that other species could not copy. Dr. Park Ji-woo watched the alien search efforts from her laboratory on New Earth. Her quantum sensors could detect every ship in the Sol system, but the space-time barriers around human space kept them from finding anything. "They are getting desperate," she reported to Admiral Kim Tae-ho. "Some of the search ships are trying to ram their way through dimensional barriers. 3 vessels destroyed themselves yesterday attempting to break into human space." Tae-ho studied the tactical displays. "Any sign that they are close to finding us?" "Not even close. Our dimensional technology is centuries ahead of anything they have. To them, it must look like we used magic to make Earth disappear." The space-time barriers were Dr. Park's greatest achievement. They wrapped human space in layers of folded dimensions that made it impossible to find. Ships could fly right through the area where Earth should be and never detect anything. "What about communications? Are they still trying to contact us?" Thousands of messages every day. Offers, threats, pleas for help. The Zalani government has officially apologized for supporting the oversight protocols. They are offering to become a human colony if we will just save their remaining people. Captain Lee Dobbin commanded the hidden observation fleets that monitored galactic space. Her ships used advanced stealth technology to watch alien activities without being detected. "Captain," her intelligence officer reported, "we have confirmed reports of complete system collapse in 14 sectors. The Valorian colonies in the Rim have been abandoned. The Free Traders have dissolved as an organization. 3 separate species have gone extinct due to plague outbreaks." Dobbin studied the reports. Each one described problems that her ships could have solved easily. But the galaxy had chosen to reject human help. Any sign of recovery in alien capabilities? Minimal. The Androians have successfully copied about 20% of human medical technology. The Threnodi have rebuilt some basic terraforming equipment, but they are still decades behind where humans were 50 years ago. The galaxy was slowly learning to function without humans, but at a terrible cost. Billions had died from problems that human experts could have prevented. Entire civilizations had collapsed when their human-built infrastructure failed. Commander Yoon Hak-jun coordinated the intelligence gathering from his command center. His agents no longer operated in alien space, but passive monitoring systems tracked every major development in the galaxy. "The political situation continues to deteriorate," he reported to the Human Leadership Council. "The Galactic Council has lost all authority. Most species have withdrawn from cooperative agreements to focus on domestic crises. The galaxy that had once been united under Council leadership had fractured into thousands of independent factions. Without human peacekeepers to mediate disputes, old enemies had returned to warfare. What about technological development? Extremely slow. Without human innovation to drive progress, most species have stopped advancing. They are too busy maintaining what they already have. For centuries, human creativity had pushed galactic civilization forward. Human scientists discovered new principles. Human engineers found better ways to build things. Human doctors developed cures for diseases. Without that constant innovation, the galaxy had become stagnant. Ambassador Choi So-ra received the most desperate messages from alien leaders. Some offered to dissolve their governments and place their worlds under human rule. Others promised to vote humans into permanent leadership of the Galactic Council. The Valorian hegemony has made their most extreme offer yet, she reported to Admiral Tae-ho. They want to give humans complete control of their military, their government, and their economy. In exchange, they ask only for human protection from the pirate fleets. Tae-ho reviewed the message on his display. The proud Valorians who had led the vote for oversight protocols were now begging to become human subjects. What about the other species? Similar offers from most surviving governments. The galaxy is ready to accept human dominance in exchange for human help. But human leadership had learned important lessons during their exile. They had studied the galaxy's collapse and understood why it happened. The other species had never learned to solve their own problems because humans had always been there to help. "Send the standard response," Tae-ho ordered. "Acknowledge receipt of message. No other communication." Dr. Park Ji-woo had been working on the most ambitious project in human history. She was developing technology that would make humans completely independent of the rest of the galaxy. "The new terraforming systems are ready for testing," she reported to the Leadership Council. "We can now create perfect worlds in just 6 months instead of 5 years. Our medical technology has advanced beyond anything we shared with the aliens. Our ships are faster and stronger than ever before." The years of isolation had allowed human science to advance without the need to constantly help other species. Human researchers could focus on human problems and human goals. "Are we ready to be completely self-sufficient?" Admiral Tae-ho asked. "More than ready. We could survive forever without any contact with alien civilizations. Our technology, our resources, our knowledge, everything we need is now in human hands." The galaxy had forced humans to leave, but leaving had made humans stronger than ever before. Soon they would face a choice: return to help the galaxy that had rejected them, or continue building their own perfect civilization in isolation. The aliens kept searching for Earth, never knowing that humans were watching them from behind barriers of folded space and twisted time. When humans were ready to reveal themselves again, the galaxy would learn that the people they had driven away were no longer the same species that had left. Ambassador Choi So-ra stood in the communications center on New Earth, looking at a message that had taken the aliens 5 years to send. The quantum tunnel technology they had developed was crude compared to human methods, but it had finally punched through the dimensional barriers around human space. "Admiral," she called to Kim Tae-ho, "you need to see this." The message was simple but desperate. "To the humans of Earth, the Galactic Council formally surrenders. We were wrong. Please, return. We will accept any terms. Signed by all surviving species." Tae-ho read the message twice. "How many species signed this?" 47. Down from the original 238 council members. The rest are either extinct or too isolated to participate in galactic politics. The human leadership had been expecting this moment. 5 years of isolation had given them time to plan for their eventual return to the galaxy. But they would not return as the same people who had left. Dr. Park Ji-woo entered the communications center carrying a data pad. "The barrier systems are ready to lower whenever you give the order. But I want to make sure you understand what the galaxy will see when we reveal ourselves." She activated a holographic display showing the hidden human colonies. What had been a few dozen worlds, when humans left, was now over 200 thriving planets. Advanced cities covered landscapes that sparkled with perfect terraforming technology. "We have not been standing still," Jiwoo continued. "Our technology has advanced by centuries during our isolation. Our ships, our weapons, our life support, systems. Everything is now far beyond what any alien species can understand." Captain Lee Dabin joined them from the Defense Command Center. "The new fleet is ready for deployment. We now have more ships than the rest of the galaxy combined. Each one could defeat entire alien fleets without taking damage. The years of independence had transformed humanity. Without the need to constantly help other species, they had focused on perfecting their own capabilities. The result was a civilization that had grown beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen." Commander Yoon Hak-jun brought the latest intelligence reports. "The alien search fleets are still looking for us in the Sol system. They have no idea that we have expanded to hundreds of new worlds. When we reveal our true strength, it will shock them completely." Admiral Taeho studied the reports. The galaxy that had voted to supervise humanity was now barely capable of surviving without human help. Wars raged across dozens of sectors. Plague and famine had killed billions. Technology was failing faster than aliens could repair it. "Are we ready to make contact?" he asked his team. "The terms have been prepared," Ambassador Choi replied. "But they are very different from the old agreements." She handed him a document that outlined humanity's conditions for returning to Galactic civilization. The terms were simple, but absolute. Complete human autonomy, immediate cessation of all conflicts, formal apologies from every species that had supported the oversight protocols, and compensation for the damage caused by forcing humans to leave. Most importantly, the document established the withdrawal protocols. Any species or organization that showed hostility toward humans would face immediate suspension of all human assistance. Humans would help the galaxy, but only as long as the galaxy remained grateful and respectful. "Send the message," Taeho ordered. "Tell them we are ready to negotiate." On the dead world of Kepler 442, the few surviving Zilani received the response within hours. Administrator Velneth, now ruling over a population that had shrunk from 3 billion to 50 million, read the human terms with tears in his four eyes. "They will help us," he announced to his desperate people, "but only if we accept complete human authority over our world." The Zilani Council voted unanimously to accept. They no longer cared about independence or pride. They wanted only to save their remaining children. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. The Valorian hegemony dissolved their government and asked humans to take direct control. The Threnody Collective offered to become a human colony. Species that had once feared human dominance now begged for human rule. Dr. Park Ji-woo led the first human delegation back into galactic space. Her ship emerged from the dimensional barriers like a ghost materializing from thin air. Alien sensors detected technology so advanced that their computers could not analyze it. "Zilani Control. This is Dr. Park Ji-woo," she broadcast as her ship approached Kepler 442. "I am here to assess your atmospheric crisis." The response came immediately, filled with desperate hope. "Dr. Park, thank you for coming. Our people are dying. Please help us." Ji-woo looked down at the planet that had once been her proudest achievement. The beautiful blue-green world was now brown and lifeless. The cities were empty ruins. The great terraforming complex she had built was dark and silent. "I can restore your world," she told the Zilani leaders. "But you will follow human protocols exactly. No modifications, no improvements, no independent decisions about planetary management. Is this acceptable?" Yes, came the immediate reply. Anything you require. Jiwoo activated her ship's new terraforming systems. Technology that would have taken her months to deploy 5 years ago now worked in hours. The planet's atmosphere began to clear. Dead plants started growing again. Rivers flowed with clean water, but this time the technology was locked with quantum encryption that only humans could access. If the Zilani ever turned against humanity again, their world would return to being a dead rock. Captain Lee Daybin's ships began patrolling the space lanes again, but with new rules. Human vessels had absolute priority in all space traffic. Alien ships that showed any sign of hostility would be destroyed without warning. Pirates who had operated freely for 5 years suddenly found themselves facing weapons they could not understand or defeat. Attention all vessels, Daybin broadcast across the major trade routes. Human rescue services have resumed operation. However, assistance will be provided only to species that have formally accepted the new galactic treaties. All others must rely on their own resources. The galaxy quickly learned that human help was no longer automatic. It had to be earned through respect and cooperation. Commander Yoon Hak-jun re-established his intelligence networks, but with a different purpose. Instead of secretly preventing conflicts, his agents now openly monitored alien activities. Species that showed signs of aggression or ingratitude found their access to human services immediately suspended. "We will not make the same mistake twice," he told his operatives. "Humans help those who deserve help. Everyone else can solve their own problems." Admiral Taeho established the new Galactic Authority with humans in all major leadership positions. The old council was dissolved completely. Alien species could participate in galactic civilization, but only under human guidance and supervision. The galaxy had wanted to supervise humanity. Instead, they had taught humans to supervise everyone else. Ambassador Choi So-ra delivered humanity's final message to the assembled alien delegates in the new capital on New Earth. For 3 centuries, humanity served this galaxy as partners and friends. We shared our knowledge freely, risked our lives to help others, and asked only for the chance to work together in peace. She paused to look at the assembled representatives. Many were species that had voted for the oversight protocols. Others were survivors from civilizations that had collapsed without human help. You decided that our partnership was dangerous. You chose supervision over cooperation. You preferred to control us rather than work with us. The chamber remained silent. Every alien present knew the terrible cost of that choice. "The galaxy is stronger with humans in it," Choi continued. "But humans are complete with or without the galaxy. We could have conquered you when you were weak. Instead, we chose to heal you when you asked. Remember that choice, and remember who made it." She gestured to the viewing screen that showed human fleets positioned throughout galactic space, ships with technology beyond alien understanding, crewed by people who had learned to put human interests first. Humanity chooses to stay and help rebuild what was lost. But this time, we do so as leaders, not servants, as teachers, not students, as the civilization that the galaxy depends upon, not the one that depends upon galactic approval. The new age had begun. Humans had walked away when the galaxy rejected them. Now they had returned stronger, wiser, and ready to lead a civilization that would never again take human contributions for granted. The galaxy had learned the most important lesson in its history. Human cooperation was a gift, not a right. And gifts could be taken away by those who did not appreciate them. But for those who earned human friendship through respect and gratitude, the galaxy would become more wonderful than ever before. Under human leadership, Wars would end, plagues would be cured, and dead worlds would bloom with life. The humans had walked away. The galaxy had pleaded for their return. Now everyone would live with the consequences of both choices.